My father was born in Poland, and he survived Auschwitz. When I was really young, I kind of noticed I didn't have any grandparents, and I didn't have any aunts and uncles. I was kind of resentful at what had happened, that my whole family was wiped out in Nazi Germany, on my dad's side anyway. My father, he was a very religious man before the war, because I asked him about God, and I was, didn't understand why we didn't go to temple or why we didn't pray over our food or anything like that. And he goes, "Son, what I have been through in my life, I saw my whole family wiped out, religious men praying to God for help and going to their death. This kind of God I can't believe in." So I asked my father, Moishe is his real name, it goes by Morris, if he would tell me his story. And he wrote it down for me. And it's fairly short, but I'd just like to read it, if that's okay. June 20, 1994. To my son, he wants to know. I'm writing what my memory can bring forward, as I was born in Poland on June 13, 1927, to a poor family. My father, David Israel, was a shoemaker, and my mother, Chava, helped as best she could. We were a family consisting of 3 daughters, Anna, Rachel, and Manya, and 2 sons, Meir and me, Moishe. The war broke out, and the Germans invaded Poland. My entire family was rounded up and brought to the ghetto. I ended up working on the roofs of buildings. One day, one of the Germans struck me in the head with the butt of his rifle, and I fell off the roof. They brought me to a doctor who did something and made my eye blind. From then on, I could only see out of one eye. One day, my older brother, Meir, was walking towards us, and a Germans shot him in the head in the street, and he fell dead. Shortly after that, the Germans put all the Jews on trains, and we arrived in Auschwitz, a big space to get off the train. My mother was holding my hand and said, "Stay with your brother-in-law, Leon." She insisted I go with him, probably because she saw what was happening. The Germans were separating the women and the weak-looking men from the young and healthy men. I hid behind Leon's back. I was very skinny. The line was getting closer to the German officer, who motioned for my mother and my father and my sisters to go one way, and then he motioned for Leon to go the other. The German saw me and motioned me to follow my mother. When he looked away, I ran back to Leon because my mom told me to go. My family was sent directly to the gas chambers. I was given a tattoo number on my forearm, B6751. This is one of the pictures he drew here. He wasn't there, about his experience in Auschwitz. After the war, everyone was looking for their family. I waited and waited. I looked everywhere for my parents and sisters, but no one from my family returned. The United States was allowing orphans to come after the war. He was technically 18, but he changed his birth date by a year, so he'd be 17, so he could make it in the country. I was an accident. My dad didn't want to have any children. He didn't think that humans weren't good, and he didn't want to bring a new child into this world. So here, surprise, I arrived. It affects you as you grow up, because even though you don't know it does. There were little things that happened, like when I was, I don't know, I think it was like 10 or something like that. They had Cub Scouts, and I could join the Cub Scouts, and my dad said I couldn't join. And I was like, well, why? All my friends are joining the Cub Scouts. It was the uniform. My father loved Ronald Reagan. To him, he was the greatest president that ever lived. He loved this country, and he loved Israel. He said he loved this country because of its freedom. And he's seen evil, and he knows what men do to each other. Both my parents were Holocaust survivors, and I want to share their story with you so it becomes your story.